Hello there, and welcome to the 10 Creative Commandments. These are practices that will help you thrive not only in this industry, but in everyday life. Let's get into it. For those of you who don't know, my name is Malachi Moore. I'm a writer, director, producer, actor, model, and for the past 10 years, I've been trying to manifest dreams and be the best version of myself. So I think I know what I'm talking about. I've worked on any production you can think of: commercials, features, short films, music videos, student films. The list goes on. And I would say the main commonality that I've found is no matter how big or small the production that you're on, no matter how big or small you think your dreams are, there's the same amount of conflicts, right? There's still the same issues that you come across as you're trying to make it happen. And, especially in 2026, like there are just so many things, people, institutions, technology that really are out of our control as creatives. And as overall sensitive folks, we really do feel everything. And I think that just makes life a bit more difficult. Um, but when you figure it out, it makes it all the more easier. So this is not to say that I have everything figured out. I think in terms of just where I am in my career and all the things that I've picked up so far. I've found that if you can focus on the things that you can control, um, you know, then the world is yours. So these are mostly just things that I've picked up on. I say 10 creative commandments because I think they all kind of build off of each other. And the main priority is to have a foundation. The first creative commandment is to love yourself. This must be the foundation that you build everything off of, right? Because if it's not love, it'll be something else that does not then withstand the test of time. Love truly is the ultimate cement. It is the strongest binding to the book of life, the book of your life. By the way, some of these are going to sound like very, very corny and kitschy, but I
Okay.
already told you guys that I was a writer. Um, I think we're just naturally corny,
Oh, yeah.
right? And to be fair, like some of the best life advice is corny as hell. Um, so get over yourself and just listen to me. Just listen to what I have to say. So here we are again. There are a lot of ups and downs when it comes to presenting your most authentic self to the world, right? We're talking a lot of rejections, a lot of expectations, societal pressures, presumptions, agendas, stereotypes, etc. Navigating through all of these things while, not only trying to financially support yourself, but to keep your head above water without knowing yourself and loving yourself can really leave you open to a lot of things that are just not a consistent source of support. We're talking unhealthy coping mechanisms, a craving for instant gratification, codependent relationships, and I know this because I'm speaking on my own journey with this perspective, right? Like I said, it's been 10 years in the making and it's a lot easier said than done, but most important things are. I also want to be clear and say that this is not something that should ever feel complete, right? These are practices. These are things, like brushing your teeth or having a face routine or a workout schedule need to be done every day to see long-term benefits. In that sense, self-love is not a destination, but an outlook that you can get to by recalibrating the way that you see yourself, the way that you speak to yourself, and ultimately the way you love yourself. So here are some practices that I've done throughout my time here that have just, really helped me entirely. Number one is to give yourself flowers any opportunity that you get, especially if you do something with intention. Guys, I'll mess around and tie a perfect knot on my shoe and not like get over it until I've given myself hella praise. It's that serious. It's that deep. Especially within this fast-paced world that we live in, anything that you do where you slow down and do something with intention and patience should be praised. Remember that how you speak to yourself is how you will speak to others and subsequently view the world through that lens, right? So if you're always talking shit about yourself, you will more than likely talk shit about others and you'll feel that the world is just a shitty place. And it sometimes is. Like, don't get me wrong. This is not to tell yourself internally that you are proud of yourself as much as possible. If you are what? If you struggle with hitting the snooze button and you praise yourself for not doing it one day, don't you think that you would feel more energy and more inclined to not do it the next day? I'm not even joking when I say this. Anything and everything that I do, I am praising myself for because life is really hard, guys. And I just don't think that we give ourselves enough credit for the things that we do for ourselves and the things that we do for others. I know that I am not different from others in saying that I love and thrive on positive reinforcement. So, other than my sister and my father, my voice really does mean a lot to me. The way that I speak to myself, what I tell myself, there's no greater voice than my own. Number two is spend some time alone with yourself. Knowing yourself is loving yourself, and loving yourself is knowing yourself. Let me say that again. Knowing yourself is loving yourself, and loving yourself is knowing yourself. I do think this is one of the harder practices for a lot of people, and I sympathize. I mean, personally, I am the much more introverted, self sufficient, shy type, but guess what? I wouldn't have been comfortable with that had I not spent time alone with myself. Now I'm the guy that like loves to eat meals alone. I'm a true Steven Glansberg.
Okay.
Listen, I understand that we are all different, and there are several different ways that we go about filling our cup, whether that's spending time with family, friends, community, or even, sitting alone in the corner and reading Dune by yourself. But life is about duality, right? You are not meant to thrive in only being familiar with one setting. You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself in all different settings. And I think there's a key term here, a word that I have really redefined throughout the years for myself, and that word is grace. Grace is defined as unmerited favor, mercy, or divine assistance, often associated as a free gift from God. It also refers to elegance in movement, politeness in behavior, or a period of temporary immunity. Guys, it has always been within your own agency to give yourself grace. The more familiar you become with yourself, your way of thinking, your habits, your trauma, and your responses, the more grace you can then give yourself. Ultimately, guys, this is what self love is. It is giving yourself grace. I can certainly confirm through my own experiences that this is a very difficult thing to do because as a society, we are hardwired to be very hard on ourselves, to look at our own circumstances, our relationships, or financial status, and think that we have to do so much more in order for it to change. You don't have to do so much more, or at least not in that sense. I really want to encourage you to move with more grace and with more elegance in life. If you make a mistake or hurt someone's feelings or go back on a boundary that you originally set, it's much easier to forgive yourself when you can discern the difference between intention and unhealthy habits, right? What did George Bush say?
Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
But he's speaking facts. And just to remind you, that is actually a leader of the free world who is um, making a mistake in real time. But he gave himself grace. And I promise you, figuring this out can only come from spending time by yourself and having the proper discernment. Maybe therapy if you can afford it. Doing this really does allow you to figure out your own prescription, your own remedy, to find out what works best for you and not to judge yourself based off of how others are or how others are around you. Number three, do things for others and for your community that maybe you would want someone to do for you. I like to call these microdosing acts of kindness, right? Like giving a cigarette or even just listening to an unhoused person, commenting on an Instagram post of someone who you follow but haven't seen in a while, telling a random stranger that I like their fit. Have you ever seen the look on a grown man's face when you tell them that you like their fit? Like, it actually would destroy the patriarchy if we could just get more grown men to blush. What I'm trying to describe here is not doing things for others just for the sole benefit of getting something out of it. It's close, but that's not it. I do things for others because I receive joy out of other people receiving joy. I'm very proud of putting that transaction into place, and ultimately, it helps me love myself. Simple. There are worse things out there. Doing this also helps you feel a little less like the center of the universe, right? Breaking up that main character energy. Oftentimes, when I struggle with loving myself, it's because I've completely lost the plot. I'm not considering other people or the positive perspective that other people have of me. Ultimately, the more you practice showing love to others, the more capacity you will have to show love to yourself, and vice versa. Finally, number four, and as honorable mention, but also something I think that we should all do, is keep a gratitude journal of things that you are grateful for and of. People, places, things, actions, statements, thoughts, truly whatever. This is honestly not that far off from what prayer is. Considering all the things that you are grateful for really puts things into perspective. You may not know how blessed your life is until you actually list all of them and how full of love your life is. Like I said, while these practices may not produce an immediate sense of self love, the process is much more like working out a muscle than anything. Over time, what, like 2 to 3 months, you'll start to see that the practices that were originally painful and cringy and corny at first kind of just happen organically. I promise you that not only how you speak to yourself, but how you view the world over time will alter. Loving yourself is absolutely paramount in order to move throughout the rest of the Creative Commandments. So, I'll see you guys next time for number 2. Peace. Your own prescription, your own remedy. Yeah. Doing this really does allow